Sorry about my technical problems, folks. We're live. I hit the wrong button. Sorry about that. It is Wednesday, July 29th. Larry is 70 years old today, so happy birthday. If I didn't have to sing a solo, we'd all sing to him, but I'm not gonna do that to y'all. Never mind my musical experience in the past. That was a long time ago. The voice has gone since then. So Larry, before we start, I'm going to say that Ellie was right that at the time she said Larry didn't need any money. He was in the hospital and it was paid for there. Now that he's home, he's running out of the meds they sent him home with, and so he needs help to refill his prescriptions. So his PayPal account is nicholslive@aol.com. I think I put his mailing address underneath in the description box below. If you want to mail cash only in a birthday card, that would be great. If you need to send a check, you have got to contact me about that. And I agree, Molly, thank you for that reminder. Please share the video today and in the future when he's back. We need to remind people that he's back and grow the numbers back again because we have work to do. So I'll say a little thing more about my dad that I found out last night. It was pretty funny, but I'll save that for the end. I've already told Larry, so take it away, sir.
Hi, folks. Welcome. Today there's something significant that's happened in Milwaukee. 100 police associations refuse to work the Democratic Convention. Now, what does that mean to the convention? Well, that means basically they will be without security for all the people that come, for all the people that come and then try to go walking down the street. They won't be protected for all the people that come and just try to do what they've always done. It won't be easy and they won't be able to do it. They'll be basically stranded wherever they are.
Boy,
and the Democrats are kind of upset about it. But, I don't understand how the Democrats can be upset with all these different police agencies around Milwaukee, in and around Milwaukee, when they're the ones trying to get rid of them. They're the ones trying to cut their budgets, which cut the budget to a police officer means cutting his pay. This is where it goes. This is how it goes. This is how it keeps getting crazier and crazier and crazier. Pretty soon, you all can expect that police all over the country are going to just step out. They're going to quit. All a policeman wants to do is go to work just like everybody else and come home to his family at night. That's all they want. They want a job. And included in that job is them taking care of each one of us, protecting us, saving us. But they're probably all getting so much pressure at home from their spouses that it will not be long until you start seeing mass quitting. And then where are we?
Yeah. Kelly suggested having social workers be security guards. Let me tell you, as a social worker myself, no thank you.
Well, I wouldn't. My point about the DNC convention is this is sort of Montezuma's revenge on them for what they've done to try to disband police, try to cut the budgets. And to quite quite honestly, I don't want anybody to pull security for them. They did it. They have caused this, so let them deal with it. Let them. Now, today, President Trump is in Texas, in the oil field country, in the oil country. And the oil business had apparently dropped off the map. It got pretty close, apparently, a week or two ago, to being almost negative per barrel.
Yep.
Now, that's one industry that we have to have. There are thousands of people that are employed by the oil and gas industry, and then there's thousands and thousands more that are in peripheral businesses that do business with the oil and gas companies.
I was shocked, Larry, as I came across Texas for Dad's death. I was shocked at. I saw one well, and all the others were stopped.
Mm-hmm.
I saw one working. That was it.
Well, they just can't run them. Now, this will pass. This will pass. But right now, because of this pandemic, and I'm not talking about just the pandemic in America, I'm talking about the pandemic globally, has cut down people driving and burning fuel significantly. So you see, this pandemic's reaching every aspect of our lives.
And people like AOC are rejoicing about that because they said we don't need airplanes and cars anymore.
Yeah, well, let's hope she doesn't need one pretty soon in November. But I worry that she's pretty well entrenched, so she won't be going anywhere. But folks, there's a lot of work going on, a lot of effort being put in around the administration as to what exactly their options are and what they need to do, what the president needs to do. And he's going around, whether y'all know it or whether you see it or you don't, he is going around with as many different industry leaders and trying to assess where we're at and what needs to be done. Now you see, that's the difference between President Trump, a businessman, and let's say Joe Biden, a politician. See, a businessman does just that. When there's a crisis, they go around to the affected departments and they try to get to the bottom of what can be done to help, save the company. In this case, save our country. But a politician doesn't do that. A politician just finds out through his talking points what he is supposed to say and what he's supposed to do by his party. And that's what he does. And unfortunately, when you take that attitude towards it, we lose. And we have lost over and over and over again. You must focus like a laser beam. Everything don't mean anything if Trump is not reelected. Your world, my world, our world is going to turn completely upside down. I mean, major league upside down in ways you can't even in your worst nightmare in ways you can't even imagine. Just imagine what your community would be like. You didn't have police. Imagine what your community would be like at night when there's no police guarding the streets or patrolling around, and the gangs are free to roam anywhere they want to go. Think about that. Now, if you want to see what that would look like, may I recommend that you look at Chicago. Look at what's happening in the south side of Chicago, where all the killings are taking place, all the shootings are taking place. Those people are absolutely scared to death, and justifiably so.
Hey, people who have to drive through there wherever they're going get scared just being on the highway.
That's right.
I mean, I stopped we're talking decades ago, where we were driving through and we stopped and picked up a woman that we weren't sure was going to live through what was happening. And she raced to the car but the next thing you know, she said, "Oh, drop me off at this next exit." It's like, you're still in the middle of trouble.
Well,
and that was 30 years ago, 40 years ago.
Well, just imagine present day Chicago in your neighborhood, in your housing addition, in your community. And the only way you can be reasonably safe is if you pay the meanest gang some form of extortion. But then that's getting hard to do. You see, that would be hard to do because with everybody running wild like that, when people are scared to death of going out of their home and getting shot, even getting shot in their home, they're not buying anything. Well, if they're not buying anything, how would you pay extortion money? That's real. That is a real scenario. It's a real situation. And don't think in terms of, what you described may happen, but it will take years before that could ever occur. No, that if Trump is defeated, you will see that all throughout the country, and it will manifest within 4 to 6 weeks.
Wow.
4 to 6 weeks. Now imagine also, with all the turmoil, the economy is going to take a dip. Nobody's going to invest in this nation. Nobody's going to invest in the corporations. Too dangerous. Lose your money. Well, when people stop investing in the stock market, the economy gets weak. And then guess what's going to happen next? The banks have to close. They either have to close or they all go into, say, 2 to 3 mega banks. And these mega banks are going to tell you how much money you can take out of your account each week or each month, whether you like it or not. Now, many of you try raising a family of 4 kids on $60 a week for the whole family. $60 a week. Now, that's coming. As I have told y'all for months and months, if not years, they'll do that right out of the chute. So now you've got the magic formula. You've got the banks shut down. People are, don't have any money. You've got gangs running wild. People being shot at will. And don't you see, when you just get to those two things happening right there, the American people will scream, uncle, and fall into submission. And when we fall into submission, America, although it might still use that name, America will not be the America we've grown up with. And it will not even resemble the America that we thought we had. And it won't be subtle at that point. Once they cross the divide, once they get Trump out, I mean, this is it, folks. This is the war. This is the war I've been warning you about. This is the election I've been telling you about. If this election goes wrong, it goes wrong.
Larry, people are really, really nervous about election and voter fraud. And what can we do? And how do we stop it? And will there be voter ID commanded at the federal level?
Listen to me. All of you, listen to me. President Trump has a massive task force that is working feverishly to protect the mail-in ballots and all of that. They're doing it. We don't need to do it. They're doing it. You don't need to do it. They're doing it. Now, when we get closer to election day, then I will tell y'all stuff you need to do simply to help. But remember, this election fraud, through the computer, through the programming, through all of the slick tricks they can pull, that's beyond our ability to discover how they're doing it, what they're doing, until it's too late. But not for the president. Also, William Barr has appointed a special prosecutor and a staff for that prosecutor to do the same. So yes, there's going to be voter fraud. And remember, voter fraud is when somebody or a group of people go in and vote and then come out and change their name and go in and vote again. That kind of stuff is going to happen.
And that's the part that we can help with come election time.
That'll be part of it.
And so, folks, you need to contact your Board of Elections and make sure, starting this September 1st, you get the training they require so you can help with what needs to be done. Right?
Uh-huh. Yes, you can do that. You certainly can do that.
Or
now, one thing that's bothering me, if y'all haven't noticed, we've got soldiers over in the Middle East. Nothing has changed in the Middle East since the day we went into the Middle East. It's very dangerous for our soldiers. And they're getting popped off all the time. But you see, we've forgotten about them. I'll bet you last night you did not think about our soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan, but you didn't.
actually, I did, because I'm thinking very much about soldiers and veterans these days. But
Well, good, bless your heart. And let me rephrase that. The majority of you did not. That's wrong, you see. We've got thousands of our brightest stranded half a world away in a place they don't want to be in a place that don't want us in. And, we don't even think about it anymore. We think about this pandemic. We think about all the things that are going on, the riots and such. Let me tell you, the riots don't mean nothing to the soldiers over there, except it tears them up. They're over there, they can't do anything about it, and they hear and they see TV there, and they see all of these riots taking place in the major cities, and there's nothing they can do. They're over fighting some lamed up war for some country that doesn't appreciate us and doesn't want us there, when they should be back here protecting and defending the Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic. These are the things that are wrong with what we're doing today. Priorities are wrong.
Well, Larry, that's where we come back to what you've told us over and over and over again. The media is pushing the wrong priorities, and we have got to be as astute in looking for what's going on that the media is not discussing.
Well, Mary Ellen, you can, but it's a lot more fundamental than that. But we'll go over that at a later time. There's a certain strategy and a certain methodology that we're all going to use coming very soon. Now let's do this right now, Mary Ellen. Let's go ahead and open up for questions, because I don't like leaving people and missing their questions or whatever, and I know it puts a burden on you to do it all at the last minute.
I've got two already. So Don, I'll get to your question because I've already written it down. So let me catch this one I did not write down. Why isn't anyone? There are two questions here. Why isn't anyone using the Terra block system to build the border wall, and why are they not mentioning blockchain technology for voting?
I don't know what you're talking about building the wall. I don't know about that technology. And I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. Now explain, if you would please, more about the block election, please.
Okay, we'll have to wait for that.
Give me a little more info.
Has there been talk about voter ID?
Yes. I can't tell you what it's been about, but yes, there are talks presently.
Okay, Don wants to know if the Catholic vote is worth 24%.
I don't know for sure because I haven't seen the numbers on that, but it's very conceivable, even though the Catholic population and faith and such has come down significantly. I still think you're probably in line at 24%, maybe down to 20, but it's still significant. It is a significant vote.
Okay, Mimi is saying, do you think Politico revealed something about Kamala Harris? Was that a trial balloon to see how the Black community would react with her in leadership?
I doubt it. I doubt it. It's just her PR people just sucked them into doing a piece about her she's trying to solicit the job. I don't believe, I could be wrong about this, but I don't believe Biden will pick her because he should know she'll walk all over him.
What about Susan Rice? Because he's worked with her. Now, he did say yesterday that he will announce his running mate next week.
Yeah, so really, I mean, us speculating right now means nothing. He's going to announce it supposedly next week, and then we'll know for certain. But it should show you the weakness of the man as a candidate, his insecurity as a man and as a candidate, when, you know, he tries to stack his vote. And it's called stacking. He's trying to stack his vote or his race with a crutch. A crutch. But the problem is with a crutch is they can get up and walk off from him. I mean, he is so slow that they can literally spin him in 100 circles. And I'll tell you this, with people like Susan Rice and what's her name? Good Lord, we were just talking about her.
Kamala or Susan Rice?
Kamala and Susan Rice. I mean, I'd hate to be the president with either one of those in there because it'd make it hard to go to sleep at night. What else you got?
So was Biden picked because they wanted anybody but Bernie?
Well, they're not going to run. That's what I'm talking about, stacking. Stacking his team, or whatever you want to call it. He's not going to pick Sanders because that would be two old white guys. And that's the big claim to fame for the Democrats against Republicans or against anybody that disagrees with them. Racism, you know, white fascist racism. And so there's no way he can pick a white guy to run with him.
Yeah, he's already announced he's planning on a black woman.
So, I mean, get ready, because that's probably what he's going to do. He's probably going to need a crutch that bad because the Democrats have lost, thanks to President Trump, you know, the black community in this country. They know they got had by Barack Hussein Obama. They know they did. They know their lives didn't get one bit better. But just since Trump has been president, they have seen tangible things, tangible improvements in their lives, most of them. So the Democrats, for the first time, are worrying, are they going to be able to hold the black vote, normally to the tune of 80 to 90% of the black voting population. 80 to 90% goes right along with the Democrat, whoever it is. And they're afraid Trump has cut into that big time.
Okay,
so they need representation for the black community, and that's what they'll do.
And they'll forget that the crime bill put mostly blacks and brown and people in prison.
And you know, I think it was said here yesterday, maybe I heard it somewhere else. I don't even know now, but it was a very good point. You know, they're going around, Black Lives Matter, they're going around and they're taking down these statues of famous men in our history that were in some way connected to slavery, right?
Supposedly.
Well, folks, the Democratic Party was the party that wanted slavery, not the Republican Party. The Republican Party worked to set them free. the Democratic Party of that time wanted to keep them enslaved. So that's the duplicity of Black Lives Matters. You know, if they really are serious about these images, and images that represent suffering, then you got to get rid of the Democratic Party because they were the kingpin of the suffering. But they won't.
And they're even taking down statues of black men who were advocating for, you know, their benefit, and they're even taking them down. So next question is about Barr. Can we trust him, or is he trying to preserve corrupt people and corrupt institutions? Protect them?
No, he is definitely not. But as I have told y'all for months now, Barr has several problems. He has people that he intends to indict. Let's just pick one that's obvious, Conway. But he's got to be careful. He's got to be able to, number one, find a court that he can bring a case into that won't be rigged. Now, that means all of the courts in the D.C. district, it doesn't matter what he does, it doesn't matter what he has, he can have it in their own handwriting. They will not prosecute, say, a Comey or someone like that. They won't. Then you've got the 12th Circuit in New York. They're not any better. However, in New York, you can periodically, according to the rotation, you know, you might stumble on a judge that would be fair at least. So there's problem number one. Then problem number two, he's got to time it. You see, if he comes out now with an indictment, it'll get buried in the media. It'd be hardly touched. The American people, I assure you, would not hear about it, except, you know, unless everybody in America watches Fox News, and they don't. So people aren't going to hear about it. So you've got what's called the news cycle. You've got to fit in to the news cycle. Timing is everything. So now you can see where, if he's smart, and he is, I don't believe he will want to do anything until after the election, except, and I have been informed of this, if he keeps getting, and his people keep getting trounced upon by the Democrat leadership, then he may very well pull an October surprise on the Democrats right before the election.
I would think that would help Trump, but, you know, who knows?
Well, you know, he's got to worry about, you've got to worry about that, because would it help Trump? I don't know.
I said maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Question is, would it? Somebody named Rem says, I continue to hear about coming cataclysmic events that are real. Is that the real reason for the shutdowns? He says the first was a drill, the second will be permanent. You'll live or die where you are, and the U.S. will be divided in two by the water coming up the Mississippi.
Well, let me just say it this way. I have heard nothing to substantiate any of those woolly booger scary things. Nothing. As I told you yesterday, the one asteroid that's coming by is going to be 6,800 miles, miss by 6,800 miles. So, you know, Guys, this is going back to what you can find on the internet. You can go on the internet and, you know, if you want to get a horror story for a nighttime story, just go to the internet, thumb through, and you'll find something. But be careful, though. Don't spread it around. And I don't want you to come here with it to my program, because just by me addressing it gives it some form of legitimacy to somebody that just comes in at the last minute and hears me talking about it. So no, I don't think any of those things are real. None of them. All I can say, other than that's my opinion, is I have none, zip, verification of any of it. What you got?
How much of the vote will Joe Jorgensen take away from Biden?
Probably, they're figuring 2%. I fear he may drag as much as 5%. And if he does, he drags 5% away from Trump, and the election, as you know, is really close, and Trump's defeated.
So he will drag from Trump, not drag from Biden.
Right. I believe he is the Democrat bringer. I think the Democratic Party has him specifically, I know him. They have him specifically in there as a ringer, I believe. Can't prove it yet.
Like Ross Perot was for Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know about the Kigali Principle that Obama did or signed?
The what principle?
Kigali Principle, isn't that something where Obama signed to allow the UN to come in here if we're in trouble? Isn't that what that is?
I've never heard it referred to as that. It is simply it was given a case number for voting, and then when it voted through, it became actionable for the UN. But you see, don't worry about that yet, because right now the UN, for it to move troops into anywhere, relies on 85% of those troops moving in being American troops. Don't worry about the UN troops. Worry about the Soviet, I don't know what they would call themselves today, troops, 256,000 that are in Cuba. Those are the ones you got to worry about.
I heard somebody say we already have 1 million Chinese on our shores.
Wouldn't surprise me a bit. Would not surprise me a bit. You know, we have the potential right here inside our country now to outfit an entire army, enemy army, right now in our country. Between the Muslims, the Chinese, the Mexicans, Central Americans, etc., etc. If they all picked up rocks, we couldn't stop them.
Lenora asked something about abortion and people being paid for abortion.
People being paid?
Yeah, her sentence was so short, it was hard to understand what she was saying if you don't want to talk about it. So.
I mean, I don't know the context of the question, so
yeah.
Better not.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Lenora. I didn't.
Lenora, just send it back in with a little more explanation, please.
Yeah, Jay is asking, where's FEMA? Why aren't they giving out meals and building shelters for the homeless?
Well, technically, it's the Department of Homeland Security Services that's supposed to be doing that, and they are. Now, it may not be getting out to everybody, but it is supposed to be available through the DHS. I don't think FEMA in this particular case is going to be the distribution platform. Having said that, I'm glad you brought that up. It's an interesting situation, and you're going to get your head spinning. You're not going to know whether you're coming or going on legislation that's before Congress today, having to do with continuing the aid packages, the COVID-19 aid packages. The Democrats, as it appears, they want to continue on the $600 a week for anybody that lost their job because of this virus and have not been able to go back to work. McConnell and the Republicans have a package where they want to give them $200, not $600 anymore, because it's just running into trillions of dollars. Plus, there's some question as to the people that still don't have a job as to whether or not it's worth them going out and finding a minimum wage job when they could draw unemployment and the $600 a week. It's a pretty big disincentive to work. Now, Trump is trying to get through with his Republican people and party people that he can trust or reasonably trust. He's trying to get through where the $600 would still be available. But people have to prove that they have been actively trying to get work. And they must show that wherever they did work that laid them off because of the virus is still not hiring. It's simply just a verification process so that the bum on the side of the road that had never worked can't just send in and get $600 for whiskey and drugs. You better watch that legislation, because that legislation, with the media's assistance, is going to make the Republicans and Trump look bad if they're not careful. Now, I'm trying to work on formulating something for that, but it's hard to come up with, trust me. What else you got?
I'd like you to respond to this. Mimi has a comment. Here's my humble opinion, says Mimi. Kids are better off away from liberal education, and college kids are finally away from nutty liberal professors.
I agree, Mimi. This has been, now, here again, let's be honest, to the single mothers, to the young couples just barely making it by, it's hard to not send their children to school or keep them at home. I mean, the kids are 10 times better off being at home, being homeschooled there, even if it's some sort of collaborative effort between the school doing some sort of online teaching program. But it's still better that they're there at home. But unfortunately, a lot of young families just can't afford that. But it is better. And then as far as the college kids, folks, I fear, except for a handful, they have already been through the entire brainwashing program since they started in school, and I don't think much is going to change them right now. What else you got?
Chris, I'm watching. Chris is going to send you. Chris is going to send you a donation. Chris, if you need to send a check, you have got to contact me. I'm going to put my phone number in the chat. Larry cannot cash any kind of check, and I can't help for another week and a half. But as soon as I'm back, I can do something. But there is a way I can help. Actually, there is a way I can help. So contact me.
Just know this, folks. Please, Chris, and thank you. Yeah, I've got 18 things I have to take a day. 18. Some of them aren't very expensive, but a bunch of them are. So if you would please help us, so that you know I'm having to combat my kidneys completely shut down. You know, we held it off as long as we could, and then finally we just couldn't keep doing it. We couldn't keep affording it, and it finally caught up. But my kidneys failed completely. Had a ruptured colon. Had 2 ulcers in my esophagus. I was septic. And had double pneumonia. Gallbladder had to be taken out because it was diseased. My liver had to be taken. It's diseased. So these are the things that I'm having to fight through now. Plus, folks, I'm just starting to gain the use of my arms and legs. So I do need your help if you can, still a little bit longer. Please. What else you got, Mary Ellen? And I need it through PayPal if you can, because I've got 6 of those things I've got to get billed.
Yeah. Anything
today.
Anything you can send through PayPal is the most helpful. And I realized Chris was saying it was going to be from his check that he gets whenever that comes in. But
I understand.
Anybody but I'm just letting you guys know, if somebody doesn't want to send cash, doesn't have access to the internet to do PayPal, you can contact me, text me, and I will help you figure out an alternative. We've done that for people when it was necessary. But the fastest way is PayPal, and that's his account is there across the screen.
And one other thing that I must say, so many of you I talk to frequently, I'm not allowed to talk to anyone on the phone. Not at all. Not until I get through this. So don't feel that I don't care about you, I don't think about you. It's just, I've got a wife that just dogs me, and I can't. Even Mary Ellen and I have limited ability to talk, planning the programs, etc. So please understand, for a while longer, I'm in the penalty box with health, and I just can't take phone calls.
We're not going to do no GoFundMe, because the last GoFundMe account we had, they did not send the money to me to pass on to Larry for 18 months. Prior to that, they kept money, and so we've had so much. Thanks, Chris. He's going to do it later this week. Chris will send something. GoFundMe has just been such a nightmare that we cannot do that. How can Larry?
And I don't, yes, and folks, listen, I don't want a whole bunch of different ways to do support of the program. I want just PayPal, basically, and then worst case, Mary Ellen, if there's an issue with the check. So, what you got?
I think that was something about being able to control election fraud with the machines, but you already said that that Trump's team is doing something. They just can't put any word out yet.
Right. Remember, if Trump's election fraud unit puts out what they have found and what they're going to do to stop it, then the bad guys will just come up with something else. So let it be said from me to you guys that they are addressing it very aggressively, proactively. What else have we got?
That's it.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to beg out.
Everybody, lots of people wishing you a happy birthday today, Larry.
Well, thank you all. Now I'm officially in the category of the old guy. Little old guy. You know, I was 60-something, which doesn't sound so bad. But now I'm 70-something, and that does sound bad. So, you know, what can I say? Thank you all. Thank you. And let's all dig in. You know, I know there are people out there in this audience that are 70 plus, besides me. And we are just as capable of fighting as a 20-year-old. We are. And I'm doing my part. And I hope you will find your part and do it.
Okay, one more question. Will Bill Clinton get arrested for child trafficking?
No. Not for child trafficking. He will be tagged for having sex with underage girls. That's coming.
Okay. So John Smith sent you a picture of a candle on a birthday cake. Chris says, "Happy birthday, my brother." Lots and lots and lots of people saying happy birthday. So, and let's see. So, somebody said, "You'll get used to the 70s. Don't worry about it." And you got to be careful what you say, because I'm not that far behind you, Larry.
I know. All right, gang. Marilyn, take over, and I will see y'all tomorrow.
Okay, thanks, Larry. All right. Just one quick story, guys. Just a reminder of Larry's PayPal. That's the best if you can do that. I promised at the beginning I'd tell you one more story on my dad. So my dad planned his funeral 10 years ago. He did a PowerPoint with slides, and I went through them last night. We're going to see tonight if we can put them to music. And I'm sorry, Tamara, I forgot to ask that. I knew I had missed one. Sorry about that. Anyhow, I was scrolling through the slides for my dad to show at the funeral. Well, I get down to the last slide, and I burst out laughing because, "Hi, Mom, I'm home." You know, in heaven with his mama. He's home. And I showed it to my poor sister, and she burst into tears because of how many times he would come up to Mom and say, "When can we go home? When can we go home?" But, you know, that's my dad. My dad loved the joke. So his "Hi, Mom, I'm home" at the end of his slideshow is just so appropriate for him. It warms my heart to think of, you know, what he did to still be the Joker and the life he lived. So anyhow, I'm not going to do while I'm here dealing with funeral stuff. We've got to go to the florist today, and we've got to start planning the reception, you know, the reception afterwards and all this stuff. So there's lots to do. Next Wednesday is the funeral. There will be no program next Wednesday, but we will be here Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday of next week, and the next couple days here as well. So thanks for your well wishes for Larry, and thanks for the PayPal donations. And, you know, nothing is too small. It's a chance to wish him a happy birthday in the comments. So God bless you all. We will see you tomorrow. So bye for now. And for a couple other people who didn't get their question answered, he did a lot of those at the beginning. So go back. All right, bye.